Welcome to our Agri HR Toolkit walkthrough provided by the Canadian Agriculture Human Resource Council. My name is Colin Bond. I'm the Workforce Development Coordinator at the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture. And so I will turn it over to Victoria Schuler, who is the Senior Manager of Products and Products and Services at CARC. She'll take us through what should be a very interesting and informative session today. Thank you, Victoria, for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Colin, and Alicia, Caitlin, thank you for joining us. We hope more people will join us, or at least watch the recordings. We plan to have a session for about an hour, including Q&A. So we may finish a bit earlier since there are only two of you, but if you have any questions, feel free asking them. It's mostly one-on-one HR consulting right now. And I will start with a land acknowledgement. This is our standard practice with CARC. Canada is the home of more than 600 First Nations who have governed and managed this land since the beginning of time. The Canadian Agricultural Human Resource Council gratefully acknowledges that we walk through the lands of these First Nations and that our office is located on the unceded territory of the Algonquin-Anishinaabe Nation. And I'm based in Saskatoon. This is how it looks like right now. It's -30 cold. This presentation is done from Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. Treaty 6 encompasses the land of the Cree, Dean, Nakota, Dakota, Lakota, and Silecer people. So if you want to come for some cold, you're welcome to Saskatoon. Today's agenda, I will give a very quick introduction about CARC, and we'll dive into HR Toolkit. So what is the HR Toolkit? What's included? We'll do some navigation and a live demo, in case you are interested, what to look for, where to find certain resources. And I'm gonna also show on some practical examples how you can use the toolkit in your operation. If you have a certain issue or if there is a certain process you would like to improve, and we're also going to have a Q&A. This session is deemed to be interactive. We are going to have a few poll questions, so if you don't mind, please respond. It will help me with my presentation as well. And with the questions, there is no judgment. It's more of a reflection of your current HR practices and things that you would like to do or you might be doing in the future. About CARC, CARC is a national non-for-profit organization. We are based in Ottawa, and our focus is to address human resource issues in agriculture sector across Canada. We work with the primary agriculture and agribusiness sectors. Our organization is led by the industry stakeholders. So we have a board of directors that represent different commodity groups and different organizations from agriculture. We are very well known for research and agricultural labor market information and forecasting. And we've been quoted several times in the media. Employment and Social Development Canada use our research. And we're also an access point for customized solutions related to HR management practices in agriculture and HR training. Agri HR Toolkit is one of those tools that is available for the industry. This is just a quick snapshot of Nova Scotia agricultural labor market, something for you to consider or to think about. And it is based on our labor market focused for 2023-2030. Just as an example, almost half of agricultural employers in Nova Scotia weren't able to hire all the workers required in 2022, and it caused production delays and lost sales. And it's probably the same in 2025 as well. And labor challenges are expected to continue, and the peak gap will increase in 20% over 2,400 positions unfilled by 2030. The interesting fact also that the estimated vacancy rate for the sector was 9.6%, and the average for agriculture across Canada is 7.4%. Nova Scotia has one of the oldest average population. 36% of the domestic workforce is expected to retire between 2023 and 2030, creating a need for experienced workers. And another interesting fact also, an unexpected influx of immigrants presented an opportunity for the sector. However, the sector needs to find the ways to attract those newcomers for careers in agriculture and reduce the labor gaps in this way. And now we are moving to our first poll questions that Owen is going to start. So what is your biggest HR challenge? Pick one. There is no right or wrong answer. It's more for self-reflection and something that you probably would want to explore in the toolkit if you decide to use the toolkit. Okay, so we have employee retention and turnover and managing employee performance. That's okay, that's the results. I'll stop sharing, and that's why we have the HR toolkit. And just like I like this definition of HR management. It's more of a textbook or combination from different textbooks, so I can't even like reference a source for that. But HR management means ensuring that organization or a firm has the right people with the right skills, so attracting and recruitment at the right time, and creates the right environment that enables and motivates them to do the right things. And for me, it kind of it shows like everything that HR does, right? You need to like attract people, you need to find people, they need to have the right skills. It must be done at the right time, especially for seasonal positions in agriculture. And you as an employer or as a business owner or HR professional needs to create a certain environment, a certain culture that will motivate people to do the right things and also give them the tools or training required to do those right things. And that's where we have the Agri HR Toolkit. So what is that? That's resources that were developed specifically for agriculture, and it's kind of all in one resource because it does have links to different like government websites and different other resources. It was developed by HR professionals and industry experts in agriculture. I'm very proud to say that it was developed without the use of AI, because nowadays a lot of like employers or HR professionals can actually use ChatGPT to generate a certain HR policy, which is great, but does it actually reflect the employment standards in your province, in your region? Or does it speak your values and like how much it is yours, right? So that's why I'm always very cautious about using AI. It's a great tool, but customize it and make it yours. This one with the Agri HR Toolkit, again, because it was updated like in 2023, the AI wasn't even widely available at that time. And we use like HR experts, we use academics, and it is a great resource. We are still, right now, we are actually considering about using AI, but more like AI assistant where it kind of goes through like pre-feeded content and provides like answers that are easier to find rather than navigating by yourself. And you can use it as if you're a small family farm, if you're a large operation, or if you're an HR professional. I think you can find something for depending on your needs, depending on your size. As a business, it was first developed in 2017 and it undergone a major update in 2023. And like in the next couple of years, we are planning to kind of use more like AI virtual assistant, HR toolkit function. As an interesting fact, it's also being used as a textbook in ag management programs in some universities and colleges across Canada. And there is a separate section of the toolkit for instructors, for the college instructors, for the curriculum part. So like that's neat for the industry, and that's a great resource for the students as well. And it has over 150 templates, guides, case studies, checklist, everything you can download, everything in a Word format. So everything can be customized according to your operation, according to your requirements. And we try to update it depending on the funding, but annually, semi-annually, like it has been updated. So a question for you, Alicia and Caitlin. Have you ever used the HR Toolkit before? Okay, so one used, another one didn't use. Okay, that's great. Like I would like to get more feedback from like someone who used it, and we can chat about it a bit later. So with the toolkit, the newer version, the way it is built, it has major 10 HR topics for that we think are vital for agriculture: recruitment, selection and hiring, compensation and benefits, worker performance, succession planning, workforce planning, HR policies, health and safety, workplace wellness, diversity and inclusion, and foreign workers. And every topic has a subtopic as well that you can navigate to. I will show the demo. Like this is just kind of when I do the demo, it will give you a better like idea of what I'm looking for. So when you go into the topic, for example, like a worker performance, the page is built in such a way that there will be like a standard menu, like overview, what you can find in this section, what resources are available for this topic, what are your legal obligations as an employer, with the link to either federal or provincial legislation if available, and there is a short summary. So this is very standard. If you're just starting, I would recommend you to start with an overview. It's a very short summary. You can watch the video. Again, it's a bit like out of dated, but it will give you a better idea of the topic and what is there. And once you go into like a second tab in this section, that's when you have like a subtopics and when you can like navigate the content. For example, a worker performance would have like 8 subtopics: managing performance, how to train workers, disciplining workers, termination, perks and benefits, working with family members, progressive discipline, termination process. I don't think you actually need to go through all of it. You probably find like whatever is the most pressing topic for you. It may refer you to another subtopics, but you don't need to go through the content. Pick what you like, read it, and like use it. See the templates that are available for this particular subtopic. When you go to like a subtopic or subsection, hope it's not too complicated. Like there is like a description, like more like a manual instructions, what you need to know about this certain subtopic. And after like there is related resources, like what kind of documents, checklists, templates you can use. You can also look at like important sections. Sometimes it's definition, some important legislations, like things to remember, and a lot of content also to kind of make it more easy to navigate. Has this accordion sections when you kind of need to press and like see what is down. So, and everything that is in dark blue, like underlined, it's a link to either a certain website, a resource, or like a template that you can download as well. And another interesting things are the resources. So every topic, subtopic has related resources. There is also a way to access all resources at once. Sometimes I talk to employer like, I don't have time to do that. I just need a workplace harassment policy for my temporary foreign worker program because it is requested. Just like get me the template. right? So that's when we can go to the resources and we can find those resources. And resources are categorized into action plans. For example, steps to welcome and orient new hires, or how to develop a job description. So it will like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Case studies. This is something if you kind of want to know how everybody else is doing it differently. The case studies have been collected over time. We have a case studies from BC, from Saskatchewan. I'm not sure about Nova Scotia. I need to double check. But like, for example, rainbow greenhouses, retaining quality workers in Chilliwack. What kind of unusual best practice they use, right? And like it could probably give you some ideas and insights what you can do in your operation. Checklist. HR practices self-reflection. This is absolutely great resource, and I recommend you to use it before the end of the year. If you start like making your plan for what you're going to do with HR, bias awareness checklist. We talked about those immigrants and foreign workers, right? And it's good to check like, do we have any bias in our workplace? Guides like interview guides, job guides, for example, managing and training employees, a stronger workforce guide. It has different links, like link to the National Occupational Classification Code as an example. Again, like templates, job descriptions, like warning letter, like written warning letter, job offer template, tools, cost of turnover calculator, where you can actually like enter like hourly rate and some other data, and you will find out how much it would cost like a turnover for this particular position for this particular employee. And worksheets like HR planning worksheets, fund vision worksheets. That's if you want to do certain things and you just need kind of a framework to get yourself organized, this is the worksheet that you can work with. So great resources. I'm gonna kind of show how to use some of them on practice as well. How to download resources. Once you go to the resource page, you will see that like little kind of gray button download. You click download and the resource is opened in your browser. And like usually like 99% of the resources are the Word document. We also noticed recently that sometimes there are issues like the resource is actually downloaded as a zip folder or something, or like you can't do it. In case this happens, like we're going through the content, but in case this happens, we would recommend you to use Google Chrome as a main browser for the toolkit. And if it's not working, please contact us and we can definitely fix this problem and get this resource to you. How to register with the toolkit. You go to the main page, and after you need to select partner access. Like partner access would have a price, $129 per year or less. And with your organization, please contact them directly. Like they will provide you with an access code. And the reason we are not given a code right now is just because this presentation is being recorded. We don't want people from all over the world to use like a free toolkit. So yeah, so go through the partner access. And after you would need to create an account, you would need to enter your access code on the very last one, and only after press register. So, and after that, you will have a message, thank you for signing up for the toolkit. You will receive an email with the prompt to activate your account. Or for the email, like usually it's done within like 5-10 minutes. If for some reason you can't find it, check your updates or junk folder. The email comes from like HR Toolkit no reply. And that's how like email looks like. You just need to activate your account. After your account is activated, depending on your access, if you have to pay, like you would need to kind of press pay with the card and enter your card number. Or like if your organization covers 100%, you'll just have an access to the toolkit. And once you register, like you'll go into the dashboard, and that will have some like a welcome message, kind of a video, like, and that's when you kind of need to start using it for the first time. you go to the HR topics, the one that I suggested, my items. These are the resources that you kind of saved and you go back more often. And the resources, this is that I need like a certain HR policies. I don't want to go through all the fluff. I just need a certain document, a certain template. And I'll show you how to get it as well. So with the dashboard, like my items, if you're saving something for you, like it's also kind of have like a sub menu, HR topics, subtopics, resources, because sometimes you can't find it. You just need to look into certain like section. Yeah, so now I'm going to give you like my top 3 resources, and we'll demonstrate how we find them and what we're actually doing with them, right? So my top 3 resources for now, job description templates and interview guides, employee handbook, and workforce planning resources. And I'm going to show you how to use it. So first one with the job description. Why does your farm or your operation need the job description? What do you think? Everyone knows exactly what needs to be done, making hiring easier, helps with training new workers, keeps employers accountable, and protects the farm during audits or complaints. And there is no right or wrong answer. You just pick whatever applicable for you in like your particular situation. Okay, well, and the poll. So everyone knows exactly what needs to be done and helps with training the new workers. That's a great way to use the job description if you have the job description. So that's kind of when it comes like, oh, we are at the point when we need a job description. We need a template. Why it happens? Because there is a new position that has been created. The operation expanded so much that it's like not 2-3 people, family, farm, like you hiring new people, and you kind of need to have a bit of a structure, change of responsibilities. Someone has been promoted to a farm supervisor position. And again, you need to get more structure. Or you're about to start like do a job posting for a new employee, and you need to post the job. You need to include the job duties. You need to include responsibilities like requirements, and you need to figure out like at least some competencies, how you're going to assess this individual when you're actually going through the recruitment, selection, hiring process, interview process, right? Onboard and training. A new employee is hired. They need to know exactly what they need to do, right? That's where the job description helps. Performance management, you're doing your annual performance reviews, right? And you're rating your employees according to certain pay scales, or you are building together like a plan for improvement or for the growth or for the development. The job description is a great starting point for that. Succession planning, right? Like one employee is going to retire. So let's kind of get from this employee all the knowledge, all the job duties, so that we can actually find somebody like who could replace this employee or decide what we are going to do with this position. Compliance, right? Like if you like it will help. And hiring temporary foreign workers, right? Like you, for example, again, for those like job posting and like employment contract, this is something that is needed. And for example, with the job, so we have like a job description template, which is a great resource. I'll show you how to find it. I'm gonna click here. So we'll start from the beginning, I guess. We'll go, I go to my dashboard, right? And I go to HR topics, and we go to recruitment, selection, and hiring. And I can go in this section, for example, how to write a job description. And we go looking for job descriptions. And this is when you have like lots of template for job description. For example, I was planning to find a crop supervisor job description. So I click here, job guide. Oh, sorry. Crop supervisor, I click here, download, and I open it up. It opened on my second screen. Hope you're able to see it now. So this is the job description. Again, it was created like a long time ago. I think it was 2017, but it gives you like a good statement for the position, associated job titles. The no codes might be off because the no codes have changed since that, and a good template like where you can put like position, team, company description, main responsibilities. This is excellent, like especially if you're doing like a job posting for the TFWP, as Service Canada don't like copy paste from the no codes. This is like a great, and that was done with the input from the industry when we actually talked to the people on these positions and put together the list of responsibilities. Competencies, usually it's more like soft skills, like not so much technical, because sometimes it depends on the operation, but it is a good like starting point for you how you will assess the candidates during your interview process. Equipment they operate, training and education. So it's a great template ready to use, like you just need to add your logger and start using it. And gonna move on. The next, also an action plan, how to develop a job description. It is in the same section. If we go HR topics, recruitment, selection and hiring, in this section, how to write a job description, right? And we click on this related resource, how to develop a job description, because like we want to start it from the scratch. We don't want to use template. Click download. I go here. Okay, so, and it gives you like step-by-step process with materials that you need and like even questions what you need to ask yourself to understand whether you've done it right or not, right? Develop a draft, meet a manager or supervisor, give employees that are currently in the job, prepare the final version, and after ask yourself like, how is it applicable and so on. So it's a good kind of starting toolkit for those companies that are just starting implementing and formalizing their HR practices. I'll go back to my screen. Here it is. Okay, so that's the job description. Now interview guides. So interview style. Everyone has a different one. Let's try to run this poll. Like, what's your interviewing style? Tell me about yourself, and we see where it goes. I have a few go-to questions. I use notes and rating scale. I mostly trust my instincts, and interviews. I hire anyone who shows up. So the last question is for fun, but I know it happens in agriculture as well. Okay. Okay, so I have a few go-to questions. That's a good one. And now we'll talk about interviews and how HR Toolkit can help you with your interviews. So with the interviewers, actually like tell me about yourself and the way how it goes is not considered one of the best HR practices these days, because it doesn't tell you anything, right? Like what can I tell you about myself? Like, I'm here to apply for a job. You've seen my resume. Do you have any specific questions, right? So the interview guide that been developed in the in the HR Toolkit gives you a structured interview process. And the questions are focused on behavioral and situational interview questions. So we don't ask a question, tell me about yourself. We ask a question related to the job, right? Like, somebody told me that a person has asked a question like, if you were like a tree, what kind of tree would you be? Like, how is it related to the job? And how do you want me to answer? Like, if I say that I'm like an oak, does it mean that like I'm kind of a strong candidate, or should I be another tree? It's a complete nonsense, but some people ask these questions. So behavioral and situational interview questions is like a standard, and it's a best practice at the moment. And because they focus on skills and competencies needed to succeed at the job. And the ways the questions are asked, they ask to like prompt or to encourage the candidate to actually give their answer using so-called STAR technique. And STAR is for situation, task, action, result. right? So when we're asking a question, we're asking like, describe me the situation, like what kind of task you've done, what kind of what kind of task you had to do, what were your actions, and what were the results. And when like you ask everyone to do the same, like ask the same questions to every job applicant, it reduces the biases and it makes your process more thorough. You can also what is important is to use a clear scoring system, right? What is 1, what is 2, what is 5, especially if you do the interview panel. The interview guide is a great resource for interview panel alignment, like especially when there are like HR people or like family owners, like different generations, and they just jump in with like a random question, like, no, let's kind of move to the scenario and let's decide who is asking what question. So it will help with your hiring process as well. It will reduce bias in your hiring because, again, you're asking only job related questions and you're doing it in the same manner, in the same order, right? And it provides equal opportunities for all the job seekers. So that's why it's important to have a structured interview process, and that's why HR Toolkit has this great resource for the interview guides. I'm gonna go to the interview guides right now. So we went to the recruitment, selection, and hiring. I'm going to resources, and I think we were looking at the farm supervisor, number 3, crop supervisor interview guide. So I download the interview guide, and what we have, like, it's basically something you can like put your logo, just delete this, insert company logo, and start using it, right? So, and this is something where you can make notes as well. It has like a very good like step-by-step process prepared for the interview, and it's good especially if you would like to get an interview panel or like a farm supervisor involved in the interview process that is like not very comfortable during the interviews or kind of doesn't know what to do, how to do. So it gives like a good preparation steps and a good opening script, like how you conduct the interview. What do you do, like step by step? It gives you a rating scale, and it also gives you like competency level, what to look for, and it gives you examples of 2 questions for each competency level. So you don't need to ask all these questions, but hopefully it will add to some of your go-to questions. So yeah, like all the questions, for example, describe what you do to make sure that the work practices are compliant with environmental regulations and a code of practice. Or adaptability. Describe a situation where you had to adapt your interpersonal style in order to work with a certain group of individuals, right? That's a good question for a farm supervisor. And what we are looking, like we're asking, what was the situation? Why did you feel it was important to adapt? What challenges did you encounter? And what was the final outcome? So we have that STAR technique. And if everyone answers the question in the same manner, like with the same breakdown, you can compare candidate A with the candidate B and make more like informative factual decision rather than decision based on your intuition. So all the kind of decision making, and after you can kind of do the summary of interview ratings based by the competencies, and after you can compare that with the interview panel. So I think that's a great resource, and it's a great thing to have in your toolkit. Like again, like, and it depends on the occupation, commodity group. There are things that are close to 40 templates here. I'm moving forward now. And the other resource, employee handbook. So what best describe your current employee handbook? A binder nobody opened since 2018. It happens. A few HR policies we need to stay compliant. A solid handbook that we actually use. That's great. And that's my winter project. Okay. Well, at least there is a good start. So like for the handbook, someone is using it and someone has it, but it just needs to have a bit of a refreshment and update. So here is the toolkit. Again, like with the handbook, since you already have the handbook, but like why you need it, the business grows, you need to have clear communication and expectations. Employee needs to understand their rights and benefits. You need to have some kind of employee code of conduct. Even like, whom do I need to call if I'm late? Like how to inform about being late or about being sick. New hire onboarding resources, especially if you hire seasonal workers, you don't need to explain the same things 100 times. Progressive discipline process, like what is your policy for that? Legal compliance, because if there is a grievance or an issue, like employee handbook is one of the documents that will be considered. TFWP compliance, like if you're hiring a foreign workers, you need to have a workplace harassment policy, and it needs to be in your handbook. And cultural reinforcement, also like a handbook. That's why like I am against using ChatGPT for HR documents, unless you're completely stuck, because it doesn't show you who you are. It doesn't like reflect your culture, your company, your business, your values, and so on. So we have the employee handbook. To be honest, I find this employee handbook a bit overwhelming for especially smaller companies. I think it's 70 pages. So kind of the way that it was done, let's do the max, let's do the best. And depending where you are, like I would say if you're 1 to 10 employees, 5-7 pages, up to 10 pages is more than enough. 10 to 30, like again up to 30 pages, longer, like maybe you need more. So with this handbook, probably like use it as building blocks. Just decide which kind of chapters you need, like copy paste, delete, like, and maybe like kind of have it like put it in later, right? So this is a good thing to have. And again, like that's a good document to work with. So hopefully it will give you some ideas and inspirations. Also with the handbook, there is how to introduce employee handbook, because the employee handbook is great, but like if the employee handbook is a binder that nobody like knows where it is or nobody reads, and like people don't always read it, like this is a good kind of guide, action plan, how to introduce your employee handbook. So it will give you like step-by-step process and what you need and some tips, like, and kind of give you an action plan. That's a great resource as well if you want to have some refreshment, and if you want to actually the handbook to be kind of a more like manual living document for your employees. And we are almost done over here. Yeah, that's the action plan that I was talking about. And the last one, like workforce planning. So this is the last poll question. When you hear workforce planning, what comes to mind? Strategy and alignment, forecasting and headcount, talent development and succession planning, something I should do but haven't yet. Okay, no judgment, like it's more for self-reflection, what you are working with and like what you think you would like to be doing. Okay, so focusing on headcount, talent development, and succession planning. That's great answers. And here is that's another quote I put in. If you don't know where you're going, you might not get there. So that's a Yogi Bear. I hope I didn't hurt any feelings after the baseball series here. And that's why like workforce planning, HR planning is important. And especially we are in the end of the year. That's when we are thinking about next season, next year, what we can do, what we can do differently. And that's when you can go to workforce planning section. And oh, sorry, I don't know what I did. I'm just gonna go here, workforce planning section. And yeah, so in workforce planning section, I love the HR practices self-reflection checklist. I think this is, if this is the one thing you do after this webinar, I'm sure it will kind of help you and prompt you to kind of do more things. So like kind of HR policies, whether you have, you don't have, like how is your recruitment, selection and hiring, managing people, like what kind of processes you have in place, like we have a documented plan for who will take over the farm business, succession planning, like implemented, not implemented, how compensation benefits practices follow relevant standards and so on. So it kind of give you an idea where you are, like in terms of HR, and like understanding where you want to be. So I think that that's a great resource to have and do those self reflections. And it also have like the worksheet and action plan on how to develop an HR plan and how to develop the farm vision. So that's always all the like demos. Before we close, just a few tips, like especially if you're going to use the toolkit for the first time. So give yourself time, browse through the topics like that is included, and kind of try to figure out what you want to focus on, and choose the one that are mostly challenging and that you would like to like walk through again. Maybe do yourself this self-reflection and just focus on that one, focus on that topic, subtopics, like tackle those like big rocks, or like do your 90-day focus, because like you can't do it all at a time, and it will be overwhelming if you jump around from one section to another section. And if you are in a certain section, read the overview first, and after like choose like the subsection content that is relevant to you, and after you might be prompted or directed to another subsection. Like you don't need to go through everything like a textbook. For the policies and for the templates, like use different one. For example, like a template on the employee handbook and an action plan how to implement a handbook. I think they complement each other quite well. If you don't know, like if you don't want to read the manual, if you're looking for the resource, access the dashboard. You can customize and edit templates, and use the dashboard to save the resources that you are mostly using, and use this add to my items function for easy access. I'm going to show how to use it. Just so HR topics, and I can actually see, I can add it to my item, and it will be in my item if this is something that, and if I go here, for example, resources, I can add it to my items. So it's quite easy. And for my items, like there's a topic, subtopics, and resources that I mostly use. And this is the sections with just the resources that like I need a certain HR policy. So I think that's it. And if you have any questions, please just pop them into the chat, or like you can talk if it's easier. There are only 2 people over here. It looks like there are no questions.
Okay, well, if there are no questions, then I'd like to thank you, Victoria. I think that that was some great information. Oh, I guess okay. We see that there's no questions. It was a lot of information. There's some great resources. I just want to let people know that this will be available on our website. This webinar. And to receive your code to access the toolkit for free, we'd ask that you would contact the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture office. You can ask for me, or you can email me, and all that information is on our website. I'll just read out the phone number. So the phone number is 902-893-2293. And my personal email for work is cbawn, so CBAWN at nsfa-fane.ca. And you can receive your code and get started on the toolkit. So I'd like to thank you again, Victoria. And I never mentioned Owen was in the background, making sure that everything went smoothly. And thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for having us, Colin, and good luck with the toolkit.
Okay, thank
Bye
you.
bye.